Hello everyone, I'm Eduardo Garcia from ppheroes.com, and today we are pleased to interview Kaeo Milker, lead game producer for Heroes of the Storm.
Hi, everybody.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to talk with us about the game. And I think that our first question is almost obligatory. A lot of new content has been announced for the internal conflict event, like the upcoming map, Butcher, Lyric, and we would like to know if we will see even more surprises during the event.
There's a lot of great content coming up. I think we've kind of hinted at the scope of the content coming. There's things that we haven't talked about yet, like the next Battleground, that I think people will be very excited about. I don't have details on it yet, so you have to wait a little bit longer on that. But we're just getting it rolling now. We have it in PCR right now. It comes out on Tuesday with Battlefield of Eternity, our new battleground, and then the Butcher. So that's really the beginning of it. And I'm excited to get it in. I think we've been waiting a long time to get some of the Blizzard worlds into Heroes, and it's finally coming.
Yeah, and it has also been said before that you try to release new heroes every 3 weeks. But what about maps? For example, you just said that you are going to introduce even further beyond a new map. So do you try to always have a new map every few weeks, or it's just when you think that the game needs it?
Yeah, I think so. Battlegrounds are something that it's really important to us to get a bunch in. I think we got 5 of them in over the course of the last year. I think you might see us do less than that at times, maybe more. It just depends. There's definitely as we add more, they're getting increasingly complex, and I think there's a time and a point that it may be. It's not something that we want to add every week, a new Battleground. I think that would be a little overwhelming because Battlegrounds like dramatically change the way the game plays. They really mix the meta up. They've changed which heroes have different value at different times in the game. So I think there's something to be said for making sure that those are spaced out enough that players really have a chance to fully understand them and get comfortable with them before they're bombarded with lots more. During Eternal Conflict, you will see these 2 Battlegrounds come out in relatively rapid succession. So we'll be watching that, and we'll see how that feels as players and as developers. We'll be listening to everyone's feedback, and we'll kind of evaluate what the timeline is like for that. But you can definitely expect that we will be bringing Battlegrounds in on a regular basis. It's just the question is with what kind of frequency.
Okay. Also regarding maps, is your team currently working on the map editor for players to create their own, or is this something that you have thought for the future?
So we've talked about from very early on that we really want to release our editor so that people can make custom maps for heroes. This entire genre spawned from Blizzard community members who made maps in StarCraft, the original StarCraft, and in, of course, Warcraft 3 with Defense of the Ancients, which really was the beginning of this whole genre. So I think we're really excited to put those tools into our community's hands. Our focus has really been on just trying to get the core game stood up and get ourselves in a position where we can create and deliver content to the game on a regular basis. So while we intend to go in and make sure we get our editor prepared to go to the public and set up a better custom game system so they have a system to publish and promote their games, we're not actively working on that right now. We are talking about when and how we do that. There are definitely a lot of concerns with there's legal issues, and because these are free-to-play games, how do we make sure that people don't just get in there and put a bunch of crazy stuff that we just have to spend all our time policing? But all of those things are being discussed, and I think in time we will definitely do it. We're really excited about it because, again, we know how important that is. We're the same team who made StarCraft 2. We know how huge our custom game scene is in that. In Warcraft 3, the custom game even today is still really big. So we want to get there. It's just a question of when.
Okay. Now, I believe the same that it's one of the most awaited features of the game. So someone of us is waiting for that feature to be seen in the future.
I hear you. I'm excited for it too. I think some amazing things will come out of it, and I'm very excited to get us to that point.
Okay. And now regarding the public test realm, which is now ready for everyone to play, we would like to ask you if you are expecting it to be always like that, open for everyone, and if you are expecting to test all new features in there, or is it going to be limited in some way, or?
Well, so right now it should be open to everyone. I think the only region that can't play it is China, as far as I know. Are you saying that there's people who don't have access to it?
No, will it always be open for everyone, or are you going to limit the access for for a group of people to only play, for example, those that have a higher rank or something like that?
Our plan right now is to open it up to anyone who wants to come play. The real purpose of PTR for us is to get a chance to evaluate the new patch before we bring it fully live and make sure that any really critical bugs or issues are found and addressed before we go to our release. So I think right now our plan is to welcome everyone into that. I recognize that there are challenges with that because all different players of all different skill come in from a matchmaking perspective. That doesn't necessarily work out well with a very small pool of players. So we're watching very closely what's happening right now with our very first PTR, and that will probably change some of our decisions. I don't think we would restrict it to anyone, but we might change the gameplay modes that are available or do it in a way that ensures that you can find a like-skilled player to play with and have the best experience possible. But yeah, it shouldn't be restricted in any way that I'm aware of.
Also related to that, recently you restricted the maps the Battlegrounds that you can play in the public test realm. Does this mean that we are going to see this feature in the future in the actual game, or is just to test the new Battleground?
Yeah, so we're working on a map rotation feature, which will allow us to have a pool of maps that changes every week if we want to. Maybe it's every 2 weeks. I think we're going to go with every week, though, where it'll be a subset of the total map pool will be playable. The feature is still in development right now, so in order to help ensure that people get the new map more often, we've restricted the map pool down to just 4 maps. So this week during PTR, the PTR maps are only 4, and then for launch week next week when Battlefield of Eternity comes out, there will only be 4 maps in the map rotation. And we will then go back to our full map pool, which will now be 8 Battlegrounds. So, and then when we have the feature ready to actually do true Battleground rotation, that will come on, and then you'll see that every week it will change up. And we hope that creates a lot of variety. We hope that makes, like, absence will make the heart grow fonder for Battleground that maybe isn't your favorite this week, and now when it comes back, you go, all right, I'm ready for this one again. Let's do this.
Okay. Also, currently, the game is divided into different regions, and one cannot freely change between them. I mean, you cannot go from Europe to the region in America. Is there any plan on a global server or in allowing players to change between them?
Right now, there's not. We do have global play available, so everyone has the option of, within the game, they can choose what region they want to play on. The restriction right now is that progression and purchases and things like that are kept in the region that you made them in. But anyone can switch from one region to another if they want to play with friends. You know, if they're in North America and they want to play with friends in Europe or vice versa, they have that option. It's just that the progress and purchases are limited right now.
Okay. And now focusing more on the competitive scene and eSports, and many players don't like the current draft system, and they usually try to use different websites for it. And what is your position regarding this?
Sorry, did you say the ban system?
Yeah, the ban system and the pick system. Okay. They are trying to use different websites instead of using the one in the game.
I've definitely been watching that closely. So we do have you know, UI improvements that are in the works that will address that to some extent. We went out intentionally at first without bans built into the game because we weren't sure that it was an important thing for us to have. And honestly, our hero pool is small enough that we were concerned about what would happen with bans that were in it. At this point, we're officially supporting like that 2-ban system that they're doing right now in the road to BlizzCon, but we don't have the UI in the game yet for it. So we will be supporting that. We'll be watching this really closely. We're gathering a lot of feedback, both internally and externally, on what feels good there. And I think you can expect to see an in-game version of that, and then we will experiment with what is the best thing for Heroes of the Storm. Because it's not just about what has worked for other games, it's about what works for our game at the end of the day. So we're very open to everyone's feedback on what we should and shouldn't do there.
Okay. And we also enjoyed Heroes of the Storm, and we have seen now the announcement for the next Heroes tournament in the BlizzCon 2015. Can we expect even more tournaments organized by Blizzard in the future?
Definitely. We have a dedicated eSports team here that focuses across Blizzard games as a whole. They're doing Hearthstone and StarCraft 2 and World of Warcraft stuff even. So you can expect that group of people is a big growing team that's focused on esports. They have a lot of plans both for the road to BlizzCon, and then we were really excited with how Heroes of the Dorm went this year, and I think you can expect us to explore what our future plans would be for Heroes of the Dorm as well.
Heroes of the Storm also faces a strong competition in Stranger. I mean, now that the game has officially been released, what do you think about this growth and evolution, and which are your expectations for the number of players?
So I missed the very end of that question.
I mean, which are your expectations for the number of players that? How many people do you want to play the game, or how many people do you think that will play the game?
Oh, like of just number of players globally?
Yes, for example.
I don't know. So our goal is always to make the most fun game that we can. And what's cool with Heroes is it's free to play, so anybody who wants to check it out can come check it out. I don't think there's like a specific number that we're looking at. It's more of like my gauge for success is have I made a fun game? Am I enjoying playing it? Am I hearing a passionate community who both likes it and has good criticisms on it? And I think right now all of those things are true. It's growing very rapidly. I think we have a really big audience right now. And the way, I think if you look at all of the games in this genre and the way they've grown, we're off to a fantastic start. And I think we'll just continue growing from here. So there's not a specific number to me, but I feel like all signs are indicating that we're in a really good place. We have a really fun game, and I think a lot of people are very excited about the changes we decided to make with it, and people are really embracing it. So I'm having fun, and I hope everyone else is too.
Okay. I would like to ask you about the behavior of the players. I mean, many players suggest a new system for rewarding a good behavior in matches. Is there any plan for this, maybe with new portraits, for example?
We've definitely talked the entire toxicity, anti-toxicity, social stuff is a constant source of conversation, planning, and work here. We have a lot of things in store for it. I think on the rewarding positive behavior side, we've talked about a lot of different honor systems or ways that we can reinforce the good behavior. I think something that's inherent in the game that I don't think is as clear to everyone is that your number one reward for good behavior is that you are far more likely to win this game if you actually just get along and work together. Like going off and being rude to people is a virtual guaranteed loss for you. And I think that we have so many new players coming in from different games with different expectations that there's one person who has this expectation like, oh, we lost the game, it's all over, you messed it up, it's all your fault. And then they're wrong, because that wasn't really the case, and they just don't know it yet. But because they started acting that way, they actually are like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where they're sealing their own fate in that because they're getting really negative about it. So I think as players figure that out, they'll either go, oh, if I'm not a jerk, if I make positive recommendations and I try to help people make good decisions rather than just be a jerk to them, I actually can win this game. I think the more people realize that, the better. The more people realize that if they're frustrated and they're being a jerk, they're going to lose. Like, honestly, to me, I'd rather those people just stop playing the game. Like, their attitude is not good from the beginning. But we're going to continue building systems that help you understand that reinforce you for making good decisions. And we will have more systems that punish you for doing bad things like being a jerk or not participating. So I think all of those systems are at their very infancy right now, and we will keep growing them out in a continued effort to make Heroes the best experience it can be for as many players as possible.
Okay, I believe that's the way. I mean, not enforcing good behavior but punishing the bad behavior, because it might punish those that aren't actually being a jerk, like you said.
Yeah, it's a delicate balance, and I think we're just starting to figure out the entire landscape now. But we do have a lot of things that are in process for this, and it's not like there's one answer that just makes this all go away either. Obviously, this is a continued effort, and I think it's a combination of us giving good systems and tools, and our players reinforcing the right things and showing each other what happens when you actually band together and you what you can accomplish, which is really the underlying theme of this game. It really is about teamwork, and that's a very foreign concept for a lot of people, I think. But it's a lot of fun once you grab onto it and you just go with it.
Okay, we would also like to ask you about the other wars of Blizzard. We are now going to see the Eternal Conflict. What other universes can we expect to appear in a future event?
Yeah, well, there's the big ones here. So we've got StarCraft and Warcraft are the big Blizzard IPs, and I think you can absolutely 100% expect us to go to both of those worlds and bring in things that are the equivalent of what we're doing with Eternal Conflict right now. We're really excited to do that. Like I said, it's so fun to bring Diablo in right now. It's a game world that our team has not directly worked on the way we've worked on StarCraft and Warcraft in the past. So it's a really fun place to explore. But But yeah, we can't wait to get on to the next ones as well. I won't tell you what they are, but it's a process of elimination. There's only a couple Blizzard Worlds out there, and we're excited to bring them all in time.
Okay. Also, that's the final question that we would like to ask you. We are excited for Overwatch, and its beta will start this fall. Are we going to be surprised by an Overwatch character before next year, or is this something that you're not even considering right now?
So we're really excited about Overwatch as well. It's an amazing game, and I'm sure as you and your readers and listeners know, so many of the heroes in Overwatch, their kits would actually transition to heroes really well, like almost 1-to-1. It would be great. We do have kind of a deal with the development team for Overwatch that we're not going to go and rush to bring in a bunch of Overwatch characters to our game until their game is out and established. So we're going to let them show you what their game is before we go and do our interpretation of their game. So while we will bring Overwatch characters and worlds into Heroes of the Storm, you guys got to go out and check out Overwatch. So let's let them have an opportunity to do that.
Okay. Well, that's everything that we have to ask you. Thank you very much again for this chance and for taking your time to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you. So nice talking to you.